The Sea Fret. End of the pier of an unnamed seaside resort, out of season. Whoa!
That was great, babe. The best yet.
We've still got it, love. Still in there, giving it some welly.
They were on the feet, Terry, loving every minute of it.
Jerry and the bloody pacemakers. We should have been top of the bill. If I hear you'll never walk alone one more time...
He'll be offended that you haven't stayed to watch.
Who the hell gives a toss what the support band thinks? No, I had to come here. Before the crowd came out. While it's peaceful like. Can you smell it? The salt. Takes me back to when I was a kid. Standing right here at the end of the pier and staring out to sea. I used to imagine I was on a raft or a desert island. Just me and the ocean. I'd stay for hours listening to the waves and looking out at the flash of the lighthouse. All lazy like in the sea fret.
You can be so poetic at times, Terry.
Changed now though, ain't it? Used to be magical. All innocent and families and candy floss and Morecambe and Wise. Now it's drunks puking up on the beach and transvestite nightclubs. OK, I expect it was always a bit tacky, but never seedy, never like this. What happened?
It's different when you're a kid. You grew up. No, I take that back.
What do you mean?
Nothing, love.
Hi, boss.
Gary, lad, what do you think?
Good. Sounds brilliant, these old theatres. Really intimate, better than playing a stadium. Them places cost a fortune and there's no atmosphere at all. You should have stayed, boss. They've just been playing Ferry Cross the Mersey. These tracks are really retro now, so simple, so raw. Jerry said it were recorded on a crap old four-track deck. Incredible. Oh, sorry, of course you know all that.
No problem, lad. Times change. It was just a laugh in them days. Nobody thought it'd last 6 months, never mind 50 years. We were bloody good, though. Even if I say it so myself. They used to say my lyrics were better than Lennon and McCartney.
We know. 5
number 1s.
You led the way, boss.
Topped the bill at Palladium for 6 consecutive nights, and everyone a sellout. Not many of your rubbish X Factor can say that, can they? And look where we've ended up. End of the pay show, out of season, playing second fiddle to that bloody shower.
Oh, come on, boss, be fair. Jerry's an icon, and I have big respect for you. You're as good as you ever was, boss. That's why I signed up. There's nothing like working with real professionals, learning the trade proper, like.
Well, you've got talent, lad.
It was good of you and Marty to take me on.
Well, we're all that's left of the original 5 now. Won't be long before we'll be calling it a day.
What?
Rubbish.
It gets harder every season. We were in Newcastle last July, and Marty got so carried away with his drum solo, that his teeth flew out, and hit a woman in the front row. She was that confused she thought they were her own and tried to put them in her mouth.
So what happened to the rest of them then?
Well, Matt and Stu had the sense to get out. They went into management.
And Rog died.
Yeah, I heard something about that.
I know you still miss him.
Best mate I ever had.
I reckon he was a bit of a lad with the girls.
Oh, that's an understatement.
He was such a sensitive soul, especially in the early days.
Sensitive? Rog, you must be joking. He could drink all the rest of us, including the roadies, under the table every night of the week if he wanted.
Look, I'd better get back. I said I'd help load the van. I'll see you later.
He's a good lad, that.
Do you think so?
Best decision you ever made. New blood in the band. Something for the younger fans. What? Many under 50?
I was thinking more like them under 70 myself. The lad's amazing on guitar. It reminds me of Rog when he were in his prime and before the rheumatism set in.
Do you reckon?
He'll be a star one day. Better make the best of him while you can.
You're beginning to worry me. I've noticed the way you look at him.
Give over, he's young enough to be my son.
That never stopped Rog, did it? Some of them girls were young enough to be his daughter.
Granddaughter.
No wonder he had a bloody heart attack.
We've had some laughs over the years.
Some laughs, aye. But is that enough? Do you have any regrets, love?
Why should I have any regrets?
Well, trailing around with me after all these years, listening to the same bloody songs with a bunch of geriatrics who ought to have been pensioned off years ago.
Why are you asking now? You've never bothered before.
I've just been thinking, that's all.
Thinking about what?
Well, tonight I was thinking, you're my girl, and I thought, I hate this song.
You wrote the bloody thing.
Do you know how many times I've sang it over the years? I worked it out while I was on stage. Shows how automatic it all is these days. I worked it out that if I sang it 6 shows a week, 45 weeks a year for 40 years, that's 10,800 times. It lasts 3 minutes exactly, so that's 540 hours. That means I've spent 22 and a half days of my life singing that damn song.
You always was good at maths.
That's not the point. We should have had a home, a family.
You'll have been on the road too much. Besides, we have a home.
That's not a home. It's a place where we go to when we're not touring.
I thought it was what every ageing rock star wanted, a detached house in Cheshire with its own swimming pool.
That were a mistake.
What was?
An outdoor swimming pool in Cheshire.
Well, we don't exactly have the same climate as California.
I should have made sure it were heated.
There was that very nice Barbie last August.
I always make the wrong decisions. Never get things right. Anyway, it's not home, is it? It's a house. If you want a house, you need kids. You need a family.
This is all a change of tune, isn't it? You knew I'd have liked kids, but it was never the right time. That's what you always said whenever the subject got mentioned. It isn't the right time. There's no point in worrying about it now.
That's not fair. If you would have pushed me...
Pushed you? You're getting on dodgy ground here, Terry. Have you conveniently forgotten what happened when I did get pregnant?
It wasn't the right time.
Isn't that what I just said? It never bloody was. No getting all morbid. No point in getting morbid about it now. What's the matter with you? Finally realise you've got nothing to show for it all but 3 ancient gold discs and the van that's so old it ought to be in the Guinness Book of Records. At least you can say you're the oldest rocker in the business.
That's a bit strong. Jagger's older than I am. The Stones used to support us, you know.
I know, all right. You never stop telling anyone who will listen. Most of your mates had the sense to get out. Not you, though. I hated those clubs. 30 years of it, filling the gap between the comic and the stripper. Getting changed in the toilet, as often as not the ladies because the gents were too small. I thought you were going to call it a day after Wigan. It was degrading. They treated you like a joke. But no, suddenly you were so old, you were a bloody antique, and they all wanted to see you again, like some sort of old fossil or curiosity. Well, the novelty soon wore off, didn't it? And we ended up in a hole like this.
I didn't realise you felt so strongly about it.
You never bothered to ask.
You should have said. I'd have stopped if you'd have said.
Ella's like you would.
Then why didn't you leave me if it was all so crap?
I did.
But you came back quick enough. I suppose anything's better than spending a year at your mother's. I never did find out what you got up to while you were there.
You don't want to know.
What does that mean?
Nothing.
Why did you come back?
Because I loved you, you old fool. I regretted it. It was a mistake.
What was a mistake? I know you wanted kids. It was the buzz, you see. On stage. Even now. Even singing those bloody songs for the 1000th time. When I hear the crowd, the noise, the excitement, I'm 18 again on Ready Steady Go. Studio lights, the cameras, screaming girls.
Aye, there were plenty of them.
They never meant anything, love.
They did to me.
It were how things were then. Sex, drugs and rock and roll.
So how come you're still at it 40 years later then?
What?
I know about you and that blonde tartar piece in the box office.
No, you've got it wrong. I'm too old for that sort of stuff.
You've been too old for years, but it's never stopped you before.
You know you're the only girl for me.
And the rest. I always knew you were selfish. I knew if I wanted anything badly enough, I'd have to sort it out for myself, because you didn't give a toss.
How do you mean?
Nothing.
Come on, if it's time for being honest, spit it out. I've done everything I could to give you a good life.
Give yourself a good life, you mean? Let's go inside, I'm cold.
No, come on, tell me. What do you mean? Sort it out for yourself. Sort what out?
How long's Gary been with us?
About 6 months. What's that got to do with the price of chips?
How did he get into the band?
Christ, I don't know. Somebody put Marty onto him, I think.
I did.
You did? It's Marty who hires and fires around here, not you.
He did it as a favour to me because he knows the truth. Besides, the lad's good, isn't he?
Hang on. What do you mean, the truth?
Have you looked really, really closely at the lad? Spotted anything familiar about him? Put it this way, Rog didn't just leave me with a few memories. It's getting cold, I'm going inside.
Here! Come back! What do you mean? Familiar?